Hey YouTube, BenB998 here, and I just wanted to make this quick intro to the 2019 Game of the Year list. There are a few games that didn't necessarily make it to my list, and also there are honorable mentions I want to talk about, so let's get to it. And let's start with honorable mentions. I'm not going to go into any detail on these, I'm just going to read off the list, so here we go. Number 5, I got Gears 5. Number 4, Luigi's Mansion 3. At number 3, I have Mortal Kombat 11. At number 2, I have World War Z. And at number 1 for honorable mentions, I have The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. And one more thing I really wanted to talk about was a certain game that's not on my top 10 list that I feel like a lot of people would be like, where is it? Why is it not on your list? This is crazy. And that game would be Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Not saying Sekiro was a bad game, it's just not what I was looking for. As someone who really likes Dark Souls, like all 3 Dark Souls games, it was different enough to rub me the wrong way. I still ended up finishing it twice, but I still, like, compared to the other games on my list, it just didn't make top 10. This next game I'm going to mention doesn't really need explanation why it's not on my list, but I feel like I still needed to talk about it, and that game is Death Stranding. Death Stranding, it was a Kojima game, simply put. It's hard to talk about because it was good, but only if you like that type of game, and those types of games are pretty slow for me. I was very interested in the story from what I've seen so far. I haven't beaten the game yet. I do plan on beating it at some point, but that walking around delivering packages aspect of the game is making me bored. And it's just, I need to be in the right mood. I need to set aside the time to play the game when I am in the mood for something kind of relaxed and not, where I can just kind of turn my mind off and play it. But honestly, there's so many other games that I haven't gotten to that I would rather get done first before I go back to Death Stranding. And the last game I want to talk about before we get to the official top 10 list is Control. I literally started Control 3 days ago from making this. I never really got around to it when it first came out, so I'm getting around to it now. So I can't put it on my list because I'm not done with it. That being said, the hour I've gotten into it right now, the hour that I've played so far, has been insanely good. So I feel like, technically, I guess you could call this an honorable mention. And with all that being said, let's get to the video. So number 10 on my list is Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night. So in Bloodstained, you play as an orphan named Miriam, who is cursed, and basically her body slowly crystallizes. You fight tons of monsters, kill a bunch of bosses, gain upgrades, and new powers. One thing to mention is the art style of this game is fantastic. It has a slight cel-shady look to it, which I thought was really cool. I highly recommend this game if you like Castlevanias or platformers, because it has a little bit of both. At the time of recording this video, it is currently priced at $40 USD, and I think that's a great price for it. Number 9 on my list is Days Gone. In Days Gone, you play as Deacon, a man trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. Gameplay-wise, it plays just like any other third-person shooter, but what really grabbed me in this game was the amazing story. There were even a lot of moments that made me tear up a bit. Currently, Days Gone is priced at $59.99 USD and is a PS4 exclusive. Number 8 on my list is Fire Emblem Three Houses. In Three Houses, you play as a mercenary turned teacher. You start off by picking one of 3 factions: the Golden Deer, the Blue Lions, or the Black Eagles. You can teach each individual student in different professions like sword fighting, horse riding, or archery. And when the time comes to fight,
You take them out into a strategic battle, kind of like a game of chess. Fire Emblem Three Houses is currently priced at $59.99 USD and is a Switch exclusive. Number 7 on my list is a game called Code Vein, also known as Anime Dark Souls. Trust me, I didn't call it that, the developers did, go look it up. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world overrun with monsters. You play as a revenant, which is an undead human brought back to fight off these monsters. And a lot like vampires, revenants feast on human blood. In terms of gameplay, the game is pretty much like Dark Souls, like I said earlier. I know the term Dark Souls-like is overused nowadays, but I really can't think of any other way to describe it. You kill monsters, gain XP, sit at a bonfire-like thing called Missile, and spend the points on upgrades. And also, just like Dark Souls, the boss fights are kind of the main attraction here. When it comes to the overall story, it is very anime, but I kinda like that. Code Vein is currently priced at $59.99 USD. Number 6 goes to Jedi Fallen Order. This game takes place 5 years after Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. You play as a young Padawan named Cal Kestis being hunted down by Imperial Inquisitors. When it comes to the gameplay of this game, it plays a lot like Metroidvanias with a little bit of the Batman Arkham games. The story was amazing from beginning to end, and honestly I think it might be the best Star Wars story in a video game since KOTOR. Also, there's a lot of fun cameos in this game, so keep a lookout. Currently, the game is priced at $59.99 US dollars. Number 5 on my list is Judgment. In Judgment, you play as a private investigator named Yagami looking into a series of murders in the city of Kamurocho. The game is made by the same studio that made Yakuza, and it pretty much plays the same exact way. Along with an amazing story, there's tons of mini-games to play, random fights to get in, and just a lot of humor. Currently, Judgment is sitting at $59.99 USD and is a PS4 exclusive. Number 4 on my list is Kingdom Hearts 3. I have been a Kingdom Hearts fan ever since Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PS2, and even though I would argue this game is not as good as 2 was, I would still say this game was very much worth the wait. It's very hard to talk about this game without spoiling anything, so I'll just say this. If you've played the previous Kingdom Hearts games, get this. If you haven't played the previous Kingdom Hearts games, I highly recommend all of them. Give them a try. Currently, Kingdom Hearts 3 is priced at $39.99 USD. Number 3 on my list is Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for about 5 years now, and this is by far the best expansion they've come out with. The story alone of this expansion is probably one of the biggest reasons to play the MMO as a whole. Something else I should mention is the dungeons and the raids in this expansion are probably the best in the entire game. Similar to KH3, I don't really want to talk about the story at all, mainly because it's very easy to spoil. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers is priced at $39.99 USD and requires a subscription as well as the previous expansions. Number 2 on my list is Resident Evil 2. This remake of the 1998 classic puts you either in the shoes of Claire Redfield or Leon Kennedy as you survive a zombie apocalypse in the city of Raccoon City. Personally, I've played all of the Resident Evil games before this, except for the original Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. So being able to play a modern version of Resident Evil 2 made me very happy. In terms of gameplay, the game is a third-person shooter with the occasional puzzle and the occasional boss. The game also features multiple game modes that you unlock after you beat the main story that add way more content than you would expect. Resident Evil 2 Remake is currently priced at $59.99 USD. This game would have been my game of the year, but there is one game that beat it by a landslide. And that game is Devil May Cry 5. In Devil May Cry 5, you play as Nero, Dante, and newcomer V to fight off a demon king named Urizen from taking over the world. When it comes to gameplay, it's an action RPG with fighting game mechanics. And what I mean by fighting game mechanics is you learn abilities that use complex button inputs to do awesome moves. For example, back forward, then the attack button might do a launch, that kind of stuff. As someone who played through Devil May Cry 1 through 4 before playing this, I think this game has the best story and also the best combat. Devil May Cry 5 is priced at $59.99 USD. And that wraps up my 2019 Game of the Year list. Thank you to everyone that watched, and if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, guys.